may bring up and questions they might have of each other, or just to kind of get that conversation going. And then at that point, I'll be leaving this seat, and we'll begin the fishbowl process. And what will happen is anybody in the audience who desires to continue the conversation that's going can take a seat and begin to just continue that dialogue process. So, and each guest will have about 5 minutes to do that. So the fishbowl process is a way to have respectful and informative community dialogues and provide an alternative to the typical panel presentations, which are followed by question and answer sessions. So this process is probably different than anything you've engaged in. And by focusing on building relationships, we begin to establish a way to work together on the long term. We accomplish this mostly through our practice of listening to each other and allowing the conversation to flow into unexpected territories and possible solutions. So for tonight, let go of your particular focus, your agenda, your particular thing that you're passionate about. Just drop what it is you think you want to say. Don't spend your time thinking about what you're going to say. Think about how we can hear each other better. Just listen. So that's your job, to deeply listen. If you are inspired to take the empty seat, then your job is to continue that flow of the conversation by responding to what's being discussed. So I'm going to go over really quickly the rules for taking the empty seat. First of all, please tell us your name. Second, your role is to continue the flow of the existing conversation and not divert it to an unrelated topic. Number 3, vacate the seat when you've completed your part of the conversation or when 5 minutes is up, whichever comes first. So, if you do have something that you want to tell Mayor and Council that is not something that's related to the conversation, I'll encourage you to contact them through some other means and discuss that. Tonight, I'll ask you to only take the empty seat if you wish to continue the conversation. So the fishbowl process can help to keep us from getting stuck in the win-lose format of debates. Instead of simply winning an argument, we're able to clarify issues and gain understanding. New options can be revealed. Our perspectives can be broadened, and harsh positions can be softened. And this is what it's going to take to build a sustainable Tucson. This is our first time using this method, so we're going to ask for your support and your patience. So let's go ahead and get started.
Rena, you always make me go last at council. All right, well, we're here to talk about sustainability tonight. And for me, sustainability starts with sort of a very simple concept. That is renewable resources versus finite resources. And I'm a very simple person that tries to utilize logic. And so it makes sense if we're going to continue in this world for much longer, we need to focus on renewable resources and renewable energy sources as opposed to finite resources. From a city council point of view, we've got way more than 5 minutes on terms of what the city has done historically in terms of their sustainability plan. And if you're not familiar with that, we should have some conversation about that tonight, because the prior council not really put together quite a good sustainability plan, and now of course it's a question of doing those things. And some of them we've done and some we need more work on. But for me, beside the sustainability plan, I really focus on solar, water conservation, open space, a walkable, bikeable community. A couple announcements like everybody else made. The city this week is launching a program for city employees to learn more about solar. And they're going to have 2 lunch and learn workshops, one at Price Service Center and one at the IT building. So one thing we can do, we have a workforce of approximately 3,800 people. If we can get those 3,800 people to focus more on the things they can do within their own homes and their own lives, that's a contribution. I'm also a big proponent of solar and water conservation because I think it's also good for business. I think it's a way that we can get clean business and clean industry and kind of, I know that in Sustainable Tucson and with Trace and some of the things he's done, it's a lot about community and about being local. And these are things we can do in community and being local. There is, with our friends in Phoenix, a bill that's really a good bill, and I know all of the council has supported it. It's called the PACE bill, and I call it energy savings performance contracts. Basically, creating a methodology where, because you're seeing in large commercial projects, you're seeing a lot of people go solar because it's smart. But it's very difficult to take that technology now on an economic level, get it to where we can put it on our houses where we really need it. Well, this was a bill that allows for lenders to go out and basically work with the utility companies to let you pay for your solar from your energy savings. And it died up in the House because the bank industry thought they were going to be in junior lien positions to these things. And there's a way to make that work where they're not necessarily in junior lien positions. So it's something that's not entirely dead yet. It may take a little bit of restructuring. At least it's one of the things that because it was in my 180-day plan, one of the things that I'm continuing to pursue up there to see if we can revive it this session, but I'm not sure that we're going to be able to. Making Tucson a walkable, bikeable community is very important. It's a way of saving on finite fuels. It's a way of creating community. We have just, with my outreach director and with city staff and with PAG, submitted Tucson's application to be a platinum level bicycle community. That would be a great feather in our caps. Some believe that we're not ready for it, that we need to do more, and that may be the case. I think just if we become a platinum community, I think that will help with our synergy. But if we don't, it's interesting. Where we may be lacking is in not so much commutes to work, but to commutes to shopping. That we don't use our bikes enough for doing kind of commercial activities. And I think a lot of that has to do with if we shopped in our neighborhoods, if we had better relations with our surrounding businesses. And that's a two-way street, so that's something we're going to work on. Have I got 5 minutes? Yes. I've got a lot more, apparently. So we'll continue the conversation.
First of all, if you have any complaints about the council, the email address is paul.cunningham. Write that down. Our family, I know we're going to pivot over to the environmental element of sustainability, but our family services is doing a wonderful service that really does tie into the whole concept of sustainability. If we are going to move forward as a community at any level, if we can't speak to one another on an even keel civilly, we're not going anywhere. And so in the big umbrella of sustainability, the civil discourse element has got to play into it at some point. So I don't know where she went, but thank you, Doug, for that. Yeah, thank you. Great stuff. The charge was to speak about some things that we're trying to move forward at the council level. Let me talk about a few quickly because of the time constraints. We had returned to us, probably 6 weeks ago, a report from our Office of Sustainability, Conservation and Sustainability, that I thought was a real incremental first step. And I understand why. They wanted to take things slowly, not try and leap great leap forward for mankind. And so it was really, let's go out and educate the people. Okay, I get that. But most people, I think, don't need yet more education, but, well, they do. But my orientation was, let's do some things. So I've been working with their office since then, and on four different initiatives that are not quite ready for prime time, but will be very soon. And these to me should be easy ones. One of them is the split metering on the multi-unit complexes to provide somebody with incentives to, if you're paying the bill, you're going to probably turn the thermostat down up when you go out the door. If you're not paying the bill, you're probably not going to if your landlord's paying it. That would be for new construction, and it would be something that we're going to have to get some buy-in from some of the building community on. Another one is green credits for appraisals. Now we can start this with city-owned buildings. There's going to be some training involved. Our appraisers don't particularly know all of the elements to look for, but that's something that a group such as this could engage in a training exercise. And when someone goes out to do appraisals on buildings, if you have a green building, you get credit for that in terms of its value for appraisal. Roof coatings is another one. This is something that some of the building community are recoiling from because they're afraid of anything that will potentially increase the cost of homes. And yet, when you look at the return on investment, it is easy to just to do the data to show that if you do light coat roof coatings, it is going to not only make the property more valuable up front, but it's going to make it a more energy efficient home to live in, and so the homeowner is saving dollars. And so the initial knee-jerk reaction to, gee whiz, we don't want to raise even incrementally the cost of a home is easily refuted, and that's a conversation that's going on as well. I wanted to touch base also on the PACE legislation that Jonathan mentioned, and the reason for that is that I thought this was going to be an absolute slam dunk, easy, no-brainer. And a couple of the speakers mentioned the state legislature. It's a family show, so I won't go too deeply into that, or I will restrain myself. The problem came with the broad brush view picture of what that legislation is to allow somebody to tie the debt service into their property tax bill semi-annually or at the end of the year, so that the lender has a certain payment mechanism. If you sell your home, the obligation stays with the property, and so you can't dodge it by selling your home and then not be found again. So that if I put solar on my house and I engage the PACE financing mechanism, and I sell it, and Rahina moves in, she owns that debt service, knowing that when she moves into the property. So it stays with the land. Jonathan correctly pointed out that the blowback was from the banking industry, who said, we don't want to take a second lien place in this thing, even though the level of debt that attaches to that is generally in the low three figures level. And secondly, the level of foreclosures on PACE financed homes is way below what the market generally is. And I guess we could get into sociological discussions as to why that might be, but it's a fact, and it's data. So Jonathan's right, we're going to keep pushing on that.